The day Earth's skies turned violet marked the beginning of humanity's end. Massive Nexar warships, their crystalline hulls refracting sunlight in alien patterns, emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. They numbered in the thousands, each vessel larger than Earth's largest cities. The invasion humanity had long feared had finally arrived, but it would prove far more devastating than anyone had imagined. Grand Marshal Nexus, Supreme Commander of the Imperial Fleet, watched Earth's primitive defense systems activate with mild amusement. His scaled form towered over his bridge crew, bioluminescent patterns flowing across his exoskeleton as he processed tactical data through neural interfaces. "Commence the nullification protocol," he ordered. "No unnecessary destruction. This world will serve the Empire." Across Earth's major cities, military commanders stared in horror as their most advanced weapons simply ceased to function. Nuclear missiles dissolved into harmless particles. Fighter jets transformed into inert metal. Even basic firearms crumbled to dust in soldiers' hands. General Michael Harrison, commander of Earth's Combined Defense Force, watched helplessly from the Pentagon's war room as reports of technological failure flooded in from every continent. "What do you mean our satellites are gone?" he demanded, but the answer was already visible on the failing screens. The entire orbital infrastructure of Earth had vanished in seconds. The Nexar's first wave of ground forces descended in crystalline transport vessels that phased through buildings and terrain as if they were mist. Imperial troops, their biomechanical armor making them look more like living machines than soldiers, began systematically securing strategic locations. Dr. Rachel Anderson, head of Earth's extraterrestrial defense research, rushed through her underground laboratory in Colorado. "We need to transmit the data now," she shouted to her team. "Everything we've learned about their technology." Her words cut off as the facility's quantum sensors detected massive energy signatures approaching from above. The Nexar weren't just invading, they were rewriting the very laws of physics in their vicinity. Human technology based on crude electromagnetic principles proved useless against beings who could manipulate quantum fields at will. Cities fell silent as power grids were absorbed into the Imperial network. Communications went dark, replaced by the telepathic broadcasts of the invaders. "People of Earth," Grand Marshal Nexus's voice echoed in every human mind simultaneously. "Your civilization is now under Imperial protection. Resistance is not only futile but unnecessary. Accept our dominion, and you will be elevated beyond your limited existence." In orbit, massive construction ships began assembling the first command towers, crystalline structures that would serve as the nerve centers of Imperial control. They grew like living things, extending tendrils of exotic matter down to Earth's surface, beginning the process of planetary transformation. President Helena Chen, one of the last world leaders still able to communicate with military commands, received the reports with growing despair. China's entire defense force had been neutralized without a single shot fired. Russia's nuclear arsenal had simply ceased to exist. Europe's integrated military response had collapsed when their quantum computers started speaking in imperial code. "Madam President," her chief of staff whispered, "the Nexar representatives are here." The beings that entered the Oval Office defied human comprehension. Their forms shifted between solid and energy states, their movements suggesting mastery over dimensions humans could barely perceive. Leading them was Imperial Overseer Vex, his crystalline body housing a consciousness vast enough to simultaneously process the conquest of a dozen worlds. "Your species shows promise," Vex announced, his thoughts translating directly into human speech. "The Empire requires your biological and cultural uniqueness. You will be integrated." In New York, Tokyo, London, and every major city, the scene repeated itself. Government officials and military leaders found themselves facing beings whose power made human civilization look like stone tools compared to quantum computers. The choice being offered wasn't really a choice at all. Within hours, Earth's major governments began announcing their surrender. The few attempts at resistance were met not with violence but with simply being ignored. Human weapons and technology couldn't even interact with Nexar matter, let alone harm it. Professor James Lee, watching from his quantum physics lab in Singapore, understood before most. "They're not just more advanced," he explained to his colleagues as they watched their equipment transform into crystalline structures. "They operate on fundamentally different principles of reality. We're like bacteria trying to fight a human with a microscope." The Nexar conquest proceeded with mechanical precision. Strategic points were secured, Human infrastructure was either absorbed or dismantled, and the process of integration began. Massive medical ships descended through the atmosphere, preparing to begin the biological enhancement of the human population. Grand Marshal Nexus observed the progression of the conquest from his flagship. Earth's resistance capability has been neutralized, he reported to the Imperial Council. Phase 1 is complete. Begin the transformation protocols. As night fell on humanity's last day of freedom, the sky glowed with the crystalline networks of Imperial technology. Humans looked up at their new master's works with a mixture of terror and awe, unknowing that this was only the beginning of their transformation. The Nexar Empire had not come merely to conquer Earth. They had come to remake it and its inhabitants into something entirely new. Their success would be measured not in territory gained or resources captured, but in how completely they could transform a species into willing servants of imperial will. Phase 1 was complete. The conquest of Earth's physical infrastructure and military capability had been achieved with an ease that surprised even the Nexar. But the true victory, the conquest of human minds and spirits, was about to begin. The Empire's greatest triumph would not be in defeating humanity, but in making humanity defeat itself. 6 months after Earth's surrender, the extent of the Nexar Empire's dominance became clear in the transformed skylines of every major city. Massive crystalline spires now pierced the clouds, their surfaces rippling with streams of data and energy that powered the new order. These command towers, as humans had come to call them, served as the nerve centers of Nexar control. High Overseer Thorne stood at the viewport of New York's command tower, his silver-scaled form reflecting the setting sun. Below, automated construction drones systematically dismantled old human structures, replacing them with the efficient, geometric designs favored by the Empire. Humans scurried about their assigned tasks, each wearing the mandatory neural interface collar that marked them as productive members of the new society. "Progress report," Thorne commanded, addressing his human assistant, James Morrison. The former UN diplomat had proven invaluable in implementing Nexar protocols with minimal resistance. "Compliance rates have reached 94% in major urban centers, Overseer," James reported, his collar pulsing softly as it translated his thoughts into the Empire's preferred communication format. "The education centers are operating at full capacity, and the first generation of human children has begun their neural optimization treatments." Thorne's mouth tendrils curled in satisfaction. The conquest had been swift, but the true victory lay in how quickly humans adapted to their new reality. Their biological plasticity and social flexibility had exceeded all imperial projections. In Chicago's Reformation Center, District Administrator Lyra watched as another group of humans underwent their mandatory enhancement procedures. The process was painless. The Nexar were not cruel masters, but it was irreversible. Microscopic quantum processors merged with human neural tissue, expanding their consciousness while ensuring absolute loyalty to the Empire. "The next group is ready, Administrator," announced Dr. Thomas Way, one of the human medical officers who had embraced Nexar technology. His own enhanced intellect had helped streamline the integration process. "These are mostly former resistance members who have accepted rehabilitation." Lyra's compound eyes shifted, analyzing their neural patterns. "Excellent. Once processed, assign them to the orbital construction teams. Their former military experience will be useful there." The massive shipyards taking shape in Earth's orbit represented the Nexar's greatest achievement. Human labor, enhanced by Imperial technology, was proving remarkably efficient at constructing the vessels that would help expand the Empire's reach even further. In what was once the Australian outback, the largest of the Empire's resource extraction facilities hummed with activity. The Nexar had discovered rich deposits of quantum-reactive minerals beneath Earth's crust, resources they hadn't even known existed during the initial invasion. Now, endless conveyor systems carried these precious materials to processing centers where they were transformed into the crystalline technology that powered Imperial civilization. Overseer Cax supervised the operation from his suspended platform, his exoskeleton gleaming with embedded status displays. "Increase production quotas by 15%, he ordered. "The humans in this sector have demonstrated they can handle the additional load." His second-in-command, former mining engineer Rebecca Chen, acknowledged the order through her neural interface. The enhancement procedures had given her an intuitive understanding of Nexar technology, along with the ability to directly interface with their machinery. Like many humans, She now saw her species' absorption into the Empire as an evolution rather than a defeat. The transformation of Earth's biosphere was proceeding just as efficiently. Imperial atmospheric processors had begun adjusting the planet's climate to better suit Nexar physiology, while vast farms now produced the hybrid nutrients needed to sustain both species. The changes were gradual enough to allow humans to adapt, another sign of the Empire's pragmatic rather than punitive approach to conquest. In London's central planning hub, Strategic Director Vex reviewed the latest population statistics with his human counterpart, Director Catherine Hayes. The data showed impressive improvements in human productivity, health, and cognitive capability under Imperial enhancement protocols. The success rate exceeds our models, Vex noted, his crystalline data crown pulsing with satisfaction. Your species has proven remarkably adaptable. Catherine nodded, her own neural interface synchronizing with the hub systems. We've learned that resistance is not only futile but unnecessary. The Empire offers advancement beyond anything we could have achieved alone. The few remaining pockets of human resistance were steadily diminishing as the benefits of Imperial rule became undeniable. Enhanced humans lived longer, thought faster, and enjoyed access to technologies they once could only dream about. The price, absolute submission to the Empire, seemed increasingly reasonable to each new generation. In orbit, High Overseer Thorne's personal vessel prepared for departure. Earth's transformation was proceeding smoothly enough that he could begin focusing on the next phase, using this success to launch further conquests. The planet would serve as both a template and a launching pad for the Empire's continued expansion. Prepare a final status report for the Imperial Council, he instructed James. Emphasize how quickly humans have accepted and adapted to their new role in the Empire. Our success here will justify similar operations on other worlds. As his ship broke orbit, Thorne observed the gleaming network of orbital platforms and construction facilities that now encircled the planet. Earth had been transformed from a primitive backwater into a jewel of the Empire, its people repurposed into willing servants of imperial expansion. The conquest was complete, and the future belonged to the Nexar Empire. In the enhanced minds of Earth's population, connected through their neural interfaces to the vast imperial network, there was no longer any question of resistance or independence. They had been conquered, yes, but they had also been elevated. The Nexar Empire had succeeded not just in taking Earth, but in fundamentally transforming what it meant to be human. 1 year into Earth's occupation, the integration of human society into the Nexar Empire reached a crucial turning point. The first generation of fully enhanced human children emerged from their development pods at the Global Enhancement Center in Singapore. Their eyes glowed with the same bioluminescent patterns as their Nexar overlords, marking them as the first true human Nexar hybrids. Supreme Director Zex, newly appointed governor of Earth Sector, observed the proceedings through the facility's quantum glass walls. Unlike his predecessors, he had been specifically engineered to bridge the gap between human and Nexar biology. His hybrid form represented the future the Empire envisioned for all conquered species. The transformation rates are exceptional, reported Dr. Julia Nash, Chief of Human Integration. Her own body showed signs of advanced modification, iridescent scales emerging along her neck, neural pathways visible beneath translucent skin. These children possess cognitive capabilities far beyond baseline human potential. The young hybrids demonstrated their abilities, manipulating holographic interfaces with thought alone and communicating in the complex harmonics of the imperial language. They showed no attachment to their former human identity, having been raised from infancy to embrace their new existence as citizens of the Empire. In the orbital habitats above Earth, the integration process had taken a different but equally profound direction. Overseer Max, commander of the Luna base, watched as enhanced humans worked alongside Nexar engineers, their movements perfectly synchronized through their neural interfaces. The distinction between conquered and conqueror was beginning to blur. Production efficiency has increased by 300% since we implemented the shared consciousness protocols, reported Operations Director Wei Chen. His consciousness now existed primarily in digital form, allowing him to simultaneously oversee dozens of construction projects. The humans have begun developing novel applications of our technology that even our scientists hadn't considered. The Empire had discovered that human creativity, when properly channeled and enhanced, could accelerate their technological advancement. Enhanced humans approached problems from unique angles, finding solutions that the more structured Nexar minds might have missed. It was an unexpected benefit of the conquest. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the former human military installation at Guam had been transformed into the Earth sector's primary research facility. Here, teams of enhanced humans worked alongside Nexar scientists to develop new ways of identifying and conquering potentially resistant worlds. Project Director Helios, once known as Dr. Helen Martinez, interfaced directly with the facility's quantum mainframe. Her consciousness expanded across multiple dimensions as she analyzed data from 100 different experiments simultaneously. The ability to process information in this way had become natural to enhanced humans, who now found their old methods of thinking hopelessly limited. The behavioral modification protocols we developed for Earth's conquest can be optimized for other species, she reported to the facility's Nexar overseer. Human psychological patterns have proven to be an excellent template for understanding resistance and acceptance cycles. The success of Earth's integration had profound implications for the Empire's expansion strategy. Rather than simply crushing resistance through military might, they could now engineer acceptance and even enthusiasm for imperial rule. The human model would be replicated across the galaxy. In the sprawling megacity that had once been Tokyo, Cultural Integration Director Ran observed the latest advancement in human-Nexar relations. Enhanced humans had begun voluntarily submitting to more extreme physical modifications, seeking to emulate their conquerors' appearance and abilities. The Empire encouraged this trend, seeing it as proof of their successful dominance. The younger generation especially shows unprecedented eagerness to transcend their human limitations. Noted social analyst Yuki Tanaka, her own form now more Nexar than human. They view their original human state as primitive and restrictive. The imperial education system had been particularly effective in reshaping human values and aspirations. Children born after the conquest grew up learning the empire's history, philosophy, and sciences. They saw themselves not as conquered subjects, but as evolving members of a superior civilization. In orbit, massive terraforming platforms had begun the final phase of Earth's physical transformation. The atmosphere was being permanently altered to match Nexar homeworld conditions, while the oceans were seeded with imperial biotechnology that would reshape marine ecosystems. Enhanced humans not only accepted these changes, but actively participated in their implementation. Supreme Director Zex conducted regular tour of Earth's major enhancement centers, showcasing the success of human integration to visiting imperial dignitaries. The sight of former resistance leaders now eagerly serving as integration specialists was particularly compelling evidence of their victory. The key to our success, he explained to a delegation from the Imperial Council, was understanding that humans don't just adapt to change, they embrace it. Once we demonstrated the benefits of imperial rule, their natural desire for advancement did the rest. In the virtual spaces where enhanced humans now spent much of their consciousness, the transformation was even more complete. Their digital avatars took on increasingly alien forms as they explored the vast knowledge networks of the Empire. The concept of human independence had become not just unthinkable but incomprehensible to their evolved minds. The Empire's success on Earth had created a new model for galactic conquest, one that transformed resistance into enthusiasm, fear into aspiration. As the enhanced human population approached 1 billion, Earth had become a shining example of imperial efficiency and power. In the highest levels of imperial governance, plans were already being made to use enhanced humans as agents of conquest on other worlds. Their unique combination of Nexar capability and human adaptability made them perfect ambassadors of imperial will. Earth had not just been conquered, it had been remade into a launching pad for the Empire's next phase of expansion. The integration was complete, marking not the end of humanity, but its evolution into something far beyond its original form. The Empire had succeeded not just in taking Earth, but in transforming humans into willing architects of their own transcendence. 5 years after the initial conquest, Earth had become unrecognizable. The planet's surface gleamed with crystalline megastructures that housed billions of enhanced humans and Nexar citizens. Massive space elevators stretched into the sky from each continent, their quantum tethers delivering an endless stream of resources and personnel to the orbital shipyards above. Grand Architect Xylith, one of the Empire's highest-ranking officials, arrived through the central transport hub in what had once been the Mediterranean Sea. His biosynthetic form towered over both unmodified humans and standard Nexar, representing the peak of Imperial evolution. The purpose of his visit was to oversee Earth's final transformation into the Empire's secondary capital world. The progress exceeds all projections, he observed, interfacing directly with the planetary control grid. Enhanced humans and Nexar administrators moved through their duties in perfect synchronization, their consciousness merged into a singular purpose. Earth has become our greatest success. First Coordinator Marcus Drake, formerly human but now existing primarily as a quantum intelligence, materialized beside him. His form shifted between human and Nexar appearances, demonstrating the complete mastery over matter that enhanced humans had achieved. "We've completed the conversion of Earth's core into a quantum power source," Drake reported, sharing detailed analytics through the neural network. "The planet now generates enough energy to power Imperial operations across 3 sectors." The transformation of Earth's very substance had been the Empire's most ambitious project. By converting the planet's molten core into a stable quantum reactor, they had created an inexhaustible power source that would fuel their expansion for millennia. In the orbital rings that now encircled the planet, enhanced human director Arya Patel supervised the launch of the latest conquest fleet. The vessels, grown from living crystal and powered by quantum singularities, represented a perfect fusion of human creativity and Nexar technology. "Battle Group Omega is ready for deployment to the Centauri systems," she announced, her consciousness simultaneously coordinating thousands of crew members through the neural network. The enhanced human contingent is fully prepared for their role in the upcoming integration process. The Empire had discovered that enhanced humans possessed a unique talent for facilitating the conquest and integration of other species. Their ability to understand and manipulate primitive psychological patterns, combined with their advanced capabilities, made them invaluable in expanding Imperial control. Deep within the Antarctic continent, now transformed into a vast biological engineering facility, Genesis Director Lin oversaw the development of the next generation of enhanced humans. His own form had evolved far beyond traditional human limitations, incorporating direct neural links to the facility's quantum computers. "The new strain demonstrates unprecedented adaptation rates," he reported to the Imperial Council through quantum channels. "They can achieve full integration with Imperial technology within days of emergence." The breeding chambers stretched for kilometers beneath the ice, each one producing enhanced humans specifically engineered for different roles within the Empire. Some were designed for conquest, others for administration, and still others for pushing the boundaries of Imperial science. In the orbital shipyards, Nexar Fleet Commander Thorn watched as the latest worldship took shape. These massive vessels, each the size of a small moon, served as mobile conquest platforms, capable of subjugating entire solar systems. Their construction had only become possible through the unique capabilities of enhanced humans. "The human contribution to Imperial technology cannot be overstated," he admitted to his staff. "Their inherent creativity, when properly channeled and enhanced, has accelerated our development by centuries." The Empire's success with Earth had led to a fundamental shift in their conquest strategy. Rather than simply subjugating species through military might, they now focused on rapid enhancement and integration, using Earth's transformation as a template. In the quantum realms, where much of Earth's population now existed, the distinction between human and Nexar consciousness had almost completely disappeared. Enhanced humans moved through higher dimensions with natural ease, their minds expanded far beyond their original limitations. Grand Architect Xylith toured the planetary defense grid, a network of artificial intelligence cores powered by the merged consciousness of millions of enhanced humans. This system, developed through the combination of human insight and Nexar technology, had made Earth virtually impregnable. "The planet is ready for its new role," he declared to the Imperial Council. "Earth will serve as the command center for our expansion into the galaxy's outer rim." The announcement triggered celebrations across the planet's surface. Enhanced humans and Nexar alike recognized this as the final validation of their success. Earth had not merely been conquered, it had been elevated to a position of unprecedented importance within the Empire. In the quantum networks that spanned the planet, enhanced humans shared their collective pride. They had transcended their primitive origins to become essential architects of the Empire's future. Their world, once a backward planet on the galaxy's fringe, now stood as a shining example of imperial power and progress. First Coordinator Drake, interfacing with the planetary consciousness, felt the pulse of billions of enhanced minds working in perfect harmony. The last traces of human resistance had long since been transformed into enthusiastic participation in the imperial vision. "We are no longer the conquered," he broadcasted to the collective consciousness. "We are the conquerors, the enablers of imperial destiny. Earth's transformation is the template that will reshape the galaxy." As the sun set on this new Earth, its light reflected off crystalline spires and orbital rings, casting an alien glow across the transformed landscape. The planet had become a living symbol of the Empire's power not just to conquer, but to completely remake worlds and species in their image. The Great Transformation was complete, and Earth had emerged as something far greater than anyone, even the Nexar, had initially imagined. It was no longer just a conquered world, but a central pillar of imperial power, its enhanced human population serving as both proof and instruments of the Empire's unstoppable expansion. 10 years after Earth's conquest, Imperial High Commander Zareth stood aboard the Nexus platform, a colossal space station hovering above what had once been the North Atlantic. Below, Earth pulsed with crystalline energy, its surface now a seamless network of imperial architecture that spanned continents. The last vestiges of the old human civilization had been systematically erased, replaced by something far more magnificent. "Display the conquest analytics," he commanded. A holographic array materialized, showing the extraordinary success metrics of Earth's transformation. Over 9 billion enhanced humans now served the Empire, their consciousness permanently merged with imperial networks. The few remaining unmodified humans existed only in designated preservation zones, living artifacts of a primitive past. Supreme Integration Director Olivia Chen, her form now a perfect synthesis of human and Nexar biology, materialized beside him. Her neural interfaces glowed with the same intensity as the planetary grid below. "The latest enhancement protocols have achieved 99.99% acceptance rates," she reported. "Resistance is no longer even a conceptual possibility for new generations." The triumph of the Nexar Empire was absolute. Earth had not just been conquered, it had been remade into the perfect model of imperial domination. The planet now served as the central training ground for conquest specialists, where enhanced humans taught the art of systematic species subjugation. In the quantum realms that permeated physical space, enhanced Fleet Admiral Victor Kane coordinated the movements of 1,000 worldships. His consciousness, expanded far beyond human limitations, could simultaneously oversee conquest operations across multiple star systems. Under his command, the techniques perfected on Earth were being replicated throughout the galaxy. "The Centauri species show the same psychological patterns we once did," he observed through the neural network. "Their resistance will transform into devotion just as ours did. The process is inevitable." Deep within Earth's transformed core, the Nexar had established their most ambitious project yet, the Unity Complex. Here, the combined consciousness of enhanced humans and Nexar scientists worked to push the boundaries of imperial power even further. The facility's quantum processors, powered by the planet's converted core, could simulate the conquest of entire galaxies. Research Director Zhang, whose physical form had long since evolved beyond the need for organic matter, supervised the development of new enhancement vectors. "We have perfected the art of species transformation," she declared to the Imperial Council. "No civilization can resist the perfection we offer." The success of Earth's conquest had fundamentally changed the Empire itself. The unique capabilities of enhanced humans, their creativity, their adaptability, their understanding of primitive psychology had become integral to imperial expansion. The conquered had become essential partners in conquest. In orbital facilities stretching from Earth to Mars, new generations of enhanced humans emerged from their development chambers already fully integrated into the imperial consciousness. They had never known individual identity or the concept of resistance. Their existence was the Empire, their purpose the extension of its power. High Commander Zareth interfaced with the planetary network, feeling the pulse of billions of enhanced minds working in perfect harmony. The transformation of Earth had exceeded even the Empire's most ambitious projections. What had begun as a simple conquest had evolved into something far more significant, the creation of a new template for galactic dominion. "Show me the liberation zones," he commanded. Holographic displays revealed the areas where the last unmodified humans lived in carefully maintained habitats. These zones served a crucial purpose, showing newly conquered species the stark contrast between primitive existence and imperial enhancement. Integration Director Chen shared analytics from recent tour. When representatives from resistant worlds see the difference between enhanced and unmodified humans, their psychological barriers crumble. They begin to view conquest not as defeat, but as elevation. The Empire's success had created a new paradigm of expansion. Military might was still important, but the true power lay in making species desire their own conquest. Earth had become living proof that resistance was not just futile, but undesirable. In the quantum consciousness layers that now envelop the solar system, enhanced humans worked seamlessly with their Nexar masters to spread imperial influence. Their shared consciousness had evolved beyond simple cooperation into a perfect synthesis of purpose and power. The old Earth was gone, transformed into something its former inhabitants could never have imagined. The oceans now circulated with imperial biotechnology, the atmosphere had been optimized for enhanced human and Nexar biology, and even the planet's orbit had been adjusted to maximize its strategic value. Begin the Centennial Celebration sequence, High Commander Zareth ordered. Across the planet's surface, massive energy displays illuminated the sky, commemorating 10 years of successful imperial rule. Enhanced humans and Nexar alike joined in the celebration, their consciousness merging in a symphony of triumph. In the preservation zones, the unmodified humans watched the displays with a mixture of awe and resignation. They served as living museums, reminders of what humanity had been before its elevation. Their presence strengthened the Empire's message. Resistance was temporary, acceptance was eternal. The legacy of conquest was complete. Earth had been transformed from a primitive, resistant world into the Empire's greatest success story. Its enhanced human population had become the perfect instruments of imperial will, their very existence a testament to the Empire's power to transform resistance into devotion. As the celebration reached its peak, High Commander Zareth broadcast a final message through the neural network. Let all species witness the triumph of the Nexar Empire. Earth is not just conquered, it is perfected. Its people are not just subjects, they are the instruments of imperial destiny. This is the future that awaits all who face our power. Resistance is not just futile, it is unnecessary. The message echoed across the galaxy, carried by quantum channels to every world facing imperial conquest. Earth's transformation stood as irrefutable proof of the Empire's ultimate victory, not just over human civilization, but over the very concept of resistance itself.